PvT best of 5, and it is all best of 5 today, so 5 best of 5 series coming your way, starting off with the blue Protoss player in the top right corner of the map from Psystorm. This is MaxPax. Just need to take a moment to quickly throw the damage health bars on. As in the bottom left-hand side, it is going to be our red Terran from Team Liquid. We have ourselves Cure. Game number 1 of this series then, of this best of 5. We get this up and rolling, and we look to see what is going to go down. And Gateway coming up, and already Cure going to get quite excited here with a bit of a proxy play to start us off. So Cure going to be the one to really go out and to do something a little different and to kind of wind things up. Let's see if he can benefit off of this proxy. Currently no scout from MaxPax to move down to his natural, but not onto the map yet. So the longer he waits to scout, the more effective this proxy may be. The less time MaxPax may have to be able to start up an initial unit against it, for example. So these are definitely things to be looking at, as this barracks will be done soon. But the probe is scouting across the map. It is coming across to the other side. It's going to be here in the next couple of moments. And moving into this base. So in it goes to, again, explore an adventure to figure out all the things that are happening over here. We'll just have probe checking in. Again, Reaper, Cybercore, the Nexus all continue to build up, and there's STV on the other side. It's just going to come through, guys. I just need one moment to take this hoodie off, and I'll be with you again. It's just a little bit too bulky for casting. That was all. Alright, so a bunker will go down and get that dropped into place. The factory coming up here on the other side of things, and the Reaper continues to come up as well. Obviously, we expect this Reaper to try and be annoying. There is a Zealot out. Of course, MaxPax in the end did go across the map. He is going to start that Zealot anyways, and once he sees that there's nothing on the other side, he's going to let the Zealot finish. So this is all playing out as you'd probably expect it to thus far. Reaper going after some of these probes. And we are going to grab one probe there, another probe coming back through, and that Zealot's still taking a couple of nibbles. Hop down to the low ground, hops back to the high ground here, trying to figure out if it can do more damage. The next Reaper coming across, going to try and add in as we get 3 kills. It's the end of the Reaper, but for 3 kills, I really don't hate it too much, right? I mean, that's honestly not a bad way to start. That's some pretty decent going in the early stages of this opening map of this best of 5 series. Very cool. Well, Stargate comes up, a couple more probes on the way out with the Wolf Gate starting as well. Widowmine is on the way from the factory. Starport about halfway through. We still have this probe here. It is continuing to get nibbled at. It's going to take a few more shots. It's finally going to go down. Once again, the Stargate and MaxPax continues in. We just have our barracks secure. Continue to move back down to the bottom left-hand side. This little cheeky Hellion is going to try and find a way forwards as well, but a couple of units saying, nah, you're not allowed in. You're not allowed to get anything done, so no gain there. And again, we just move towards our natural, so Q is still just getting that CC set up. At the moment, feels as though MaxPax is going to be in a fairly comfortable place. You're playing a PvT where you're going to have Phoenix up, so you're going to be very safe in that regard. Just across the board, I think it's fair to say that MaxPax's position is looking pretty darn decent. He's defended well, he's deflected well. He did take a few, probes of damage off of the first Reaper, but from here on out, it's hard to see Q do much. And again, Q did invest into that much later command center now. And that's the cost of having been able to kill those early workers. Now this Reaper is going to go down as well, so that is going to be the end of this. That harassment is now just completely fallen. And like I say, that one's going to come to a crashing close for the moment. So that ends. The Raven and the Cyclone produce up on the side of Q. We get that on the way as well. Bring that through. Just realized I have the ESL logo on. Let me just get rid of that. Do I have an OSC logo? Yeah, I do. Of course I do. Nice. To get the Infinite Rinse Matrix started, obviously, this is going to become a big talking point. Can we keep the Raven alive against those Phoenix to the point where it's going to be able to be useful? That's obviously not a guarantee. That's actually quite difficult to do a lot of the time, so that really, again, should be the question on your minds, because those Phoenix can be very tricky. And again, if you invest into the Raven, you invest into Matrix, and then you never get to spellcast with that Raven at all, then that's just a massive shame, as we do see the Widowmine here at least going, but it had a buddy, so the second Widowmine goes off to actually get a Phoenix kill. Usually the one-mine shot's like, well, that's nice for later, but this time we actually capitalize. We instantly get kill number or shot number 2 and kill number 1 on the Phoenix. And that is going to be Cure, just reducing down that Phoenix number that little bit for the moment. So again, a job very well done in that regard. Phoenix come back around to the bottom side as they head in to the natural. Aim for some of these SCVs. A couple of those already beginning to drop. Cyclones and Marines coming back across. Engineering Bay finishing soon. Stimpack is about halfway done. And Phoenix go back into the center. Another Phoenix going to go join down onto the bottom as well. And again, we just have our observer coming over to the bottom side, looking to see a bit of what's going on. As Immortal Phoenix and the Robo Bay continue up, the Nexus is still building. A couple of Marines are firing up on the Phoenix as well, so just again trying to zone those out as best as we possibly can for now. And that is pretty much the everything of what's happening here in this opening game. This is winner bracket, just to set the tone and set the kind of the series up a little bit as well. This is the winner bracket. Oh, there goes the Raven. So yeah, it didn't even get the Observer, which is why it was forwards there. So the Observer doesn't even go down. Pain in the butt there to lose the Raven, and again, so much investment in Interference Matrix upgrade as well, and never came to anything. But yes, just quickly, this is the winners bracket of the OSC Championship. Quite deep in the winners bracket as well. You win here, you have Hero to go up against next, but again, just having that extra chance in the winners bracket is pretty much the most important thing. As this is a big tournament, there's a lot of rounds in that lower bracket you'd like to avoid. This job came in, got 10 probes initially, and it's going to pull everything back, allowing for the rest of the army to show up. Not sure the rest of the army really wants to stick around here. There's a freaking Colossus ready to go, so the last thing you really want to be doing is taking a fight into Mr. Colossus. That is going to be asking for trouble, no doubt. A couple Phoenix into the center, get turned around immediately once again, so they just get turned in an instant. The Phoenix get pushed back, more bio collecting in the center, but it's hard to imagine this doing anything until the medevacs are here. Fortunately for us, here is the reinforcing medevacs, so we are going to see Cure in a position now to most likely pressure forward and to try and find something once again. Nothing else, he's got this Widowmine drop swinging around the right side, so even just taking attention away to make this more effective is almost always a fairly valuable way of playing. A pretty valuable tool that you have on your side, so just kind of working on that for now. As you see this medevac boost back, it just saw a little bit of a stim up, but we pulled back pretty quickly. But still be respectful of those Colossi and the Phoenix, right? They can absolutely crush your dreams if you get a little bit too overeager, if you try and make things happen a little bit too soon at any point. Let's see one Cyclone actually getting dropped there as well. We do return fire onto a Zealot, picking that off also. Another Cyan comes down. Colossi and Stalkers, Immortal as well, continue to be pushed back. Plus one arm coming up. Marine Marauder on the way. Bit of everything just coming through for the moment. Here in this game number 1 of the best of 5. Bioforce is still around on the right-hand side. And it is just going to come across. A couple of Vikings coming up. Ghost Academy coming through. More probes going down. The Widowmine actually landed on the 3rd, I believe. Now one in the natural will just get one more worker. And that Widowmine drop will be cleaned up as he's just going to push forward and take the chance to knock down a Cybercore. So little bits of damage being added up right now here on Hecate. Stalker going to walk into a Widowmine, no blink, so we can't just blink away from that. Again, the problem for Cure is he just doesn't have the tools necessary to go through the larger, clunkier units like the Colossi, those units which you really need to get through, otherwise they're going to shred your forces throughout the course of a fight. So, unfortunately for Cure, he's in a little bit of a tough spot in that regard at least. A little bit held back in terms of how much he can really get done. To continue back across here, and the Phoenix get caught again. I mean, MaxPax has been losing the Phoenix throughout. He's only lost, well, he's lost 4, it's a significant number, and it was great when they killed the Raven, but everything else, obviously losing Phoenix just makes your overall army weaker. The sort of thing where you want to build a certain amount and then not really want to rebuild any, you want to be refocusing your efforts on more splash damage and so on. So, yeah, having those Phoenix losses just does weaken you across the board. And they've been decent, don't get me wrong, it's not that they've not done anything, it's just, it feels like they could have been even better still, right? As Bio approaches, and a couple of Zealots here will get caught immediately. We get turned around. Sentry coming by. A couple Phoenix getting chased. The Bio will continue to go through. Colossus goes down. Vikings still firing up on those Phoenix, and the few Zealots coming through as well. Bio will continue to chase, looking for the Colossi. Well, I'm just going to pull back a little bit. A few more of those probes continue to drop. 6 workers down at the moment. The Vikings, the Marauders still firing up. The Super Battery activates to heal up the Phoenix, bringing that back to better HP. We just have ourselves 9 probes and a base going down. Massive fight, massive win for Cure here as MaxPax will be pushed back in a big way. Now have the charge finishing up. 4 more High Templar coming through. Colossus, Phoenix, and Zealot still in production as well. All of that coming on by. Across the map, a couple of Zealots going to try and figure out where they can get to. Finishing off that gate. Again, the Bio, the Ghosts continue to regather over here. Just for now. Settling for a few moments. We have a few Zealots on the other side of the map. They got a handful of SCVs, but nothing really too major. 4 workers is pretty minimal. And they're starting to get cleaned up now as well. As MaxPax's army is looking lackluster. 2 Archons, 2 Colossi, a small gathering of Phoenix, and a couple of Zealots thrown in there for good measure. I mean, a couple of EMPs, and the majority of this army just dies, and there is one of those Archons going down immediately. Archons Colossi still make their way down the right side. Kira goes all the way to the top, has a bunch more Bio and Ghost trailing to look across as well. And do you see our Zealots coming in, and a few more Zealots warping in underneath that prism. A lot of Zealots warping in for now. A few more SCVs coming up. Our Archons, our Colossi coming over. Widowmine will get knocked down. We just see these SCVs still being hunted. So actually, MaxPax on a scary push that shouldn't really be that scary, because it feels as though Kira's got, well, has had all the time in the world to be ready to defend, and he is going to knock the army down. The army itself isn't scary, it was just the fact Kira was out of position. But it's actually going to lead Kira into losing 39 SCVs, which, I mean, surely Kira can just go across the map. He still has 92 to 45 army supply, but it puts you in a position where if you somehow do not succeed across the map right now, you're actually in a very troublesome spot. Kira has really let this slip away for himself. Well, Bio settles the few Vikings overhead, and we are going to press on forward. We got a few Phoenix, a couple Archons. Meanwhile, actually, the Medivacs load up. They are going to go diving into the main base. So in we go. Bioforce just going to jump onto a battery there. The cannon taking some shots. A couple of Zealots coming through, and the Phoenix already picking their way through these Medivacs also. There goes 1. Here goes 2. Those Medivacs being hunted. Those Medivacs will fall. And now seeing the supplies actually taking a very dangerous swing for Kira. Because again, his work account is just down in the gutter, rebuilding 3 at a time, but work to be done. More Stalkers warp in, a couple extra Archons coming up. MaxPax is still somehow obviously sustaining his army. He's recovered from those losses himself, and again, without Kira being able to build as much, it's going to give MaxPax a way back in. Disruptor shot is good just for a Ghost, but even that's okay. If we save the Disruptor, I think we really could have saved this Disruptor. I mean, that was the saddest Disruptor of all time. He's like, bros, guys, you're literally right there. Help me. This entire Protoss army just ignores him. Well, a couple more load-ups. I'm just going to be having the couple of Archons brought over the left-hand side. One more Archon morphing into the center there. Colossus and +1 armor coming through. Still got this Bio Viking Ghost Force making its way to the upper left. A couple of Zealots will continue to go down, so they get picked off immediately. +3 attack is starting up on the side of Kira as well, so we get that going with immediate effect. Still having Bio Viking Ghost just gathering together. Another scan up to this high ground sees the Archon, Colossus, Zealot, Stalker Force, bit of everything all set to go. The Warp Prism of MaxPax back around the upper left-hand side. We still have a couple of Zealots in here, a couple of these SCVs being knocked away at, so workers continue to fall. Some damage being done, and again, the Bioforce of Kira regathers to the center of the map for the moment. Because I'm still going to sit out and chill over here, waiting for the next opportunity. Supplies are really even. I mean, like, what a crazy game that this is going to turn around. Extra Zealots finishing, the Observer coming through. Going to be seeing the Zealots coming across, and just going to be having our barracks and a few SCVs in this main base taking shots. Due to be favor in a big fight, I still think Kira is in a better army spot, especially now his work count is rebuilt back up. I'm less worried about a rebuild again for him, but I mean, you can't doubt that MaxPax's army has some power too. The problem is it's very Archon heavy, and if you take a lot of EMPs, this army of MaxPax can still very quickly melt away. So MaxPax has done some great things to be back in this game, but he's still ever so slightly trailing. As the the Phoenix just going to chill out overhead, the Zealots underneath. Darkshrine coming up with the Observer, and the Blink continuing through as well. We've seen the Stalkers, the Zealots. Going to move around, and the Sentry coming up as well. Rest of his army on the right side from Cure coming across. It's going to be having Cure actually with the split push. I mean, this is where Cure is very dangerous as well. Split pushing. He's such a master of this and figuring out how to force his opponent into bad fights, because it's very difficult for the pros to match him properly. Let's see if MaxPax has been able to do that here. He's got a couple, 3 full energy ghosts on his left side, but there's not a lot of the Archons here. They're mostly on the right, and they do chase away this chunk of Terran for the moment. Where else can Cure get to try and take advantage of this situation? Then +3 attack about to be done, +3 armors halfway along. A few Zealots on the right side from MaxPax move around as well. A couple SCVs dropping. As the Zealots will continue to take some hits. Just getting that run by cleaned up. 16.5 minutes now here on Hecate. And things have begun to settle down as Stalkers pulling forward. Vikings take some damage. Stalkers, Archons, Colossi going to be there. The Bioforce sitting tight back down the low ground. +1 ship weapons and the +3 armor all coming through. And do have this army of MaxPax pulling back around on the right side. Note again, the Medevac, Marine, and Marauder all still on the way out. This Bioforce Secure is looking as though it's trying to find a way around somewhere, but not sure where exactly that's going to end up being, as we actually knock a Phoenix down out of the skies immediately. A couple of EMPs coming down. Stalker's getting hit. The Phoenix goes down as well. Now we're going to re-dive forwards. Another EMP. And it's just with that, again, right side portion of the army. MaxPax is only on 66 workers of his own. His army supply is still trailing by 30. And against a maxed Cure, I do not see him really do too much. A couple of bio units just stimming in, a couple of Zealots going down. Viking going to get knocked away at. The Disruptor Shot might be able to buy you some time, but it doesn't hit anything. I mean, like I say, it buys you a bit of time. Perhaps the army backed away for a moment. His army on the right still looking to re-engage forward, and I mean, again, credit to Cure. He's been very good at just continuing to do this split push action, trying to find absolutely the most out of this that he can. On the left side as well, he kind of gets pushed back a step. The problem is, the MaxPax is that Cure just has still more. Right, and at this point as well, able to rebuild quite comfortably as well. Shadow Stride coming up as MaxPax tries to delve into the later stages of the game. You gather around, the rest of the bio over to the left. Again, +3 attack about to be done on the Forge. Ghosts and a couple of Medevacs still coming through, and this force of MaxPax still looking to push around down to the bottom. Missile turret building over on the far left-hand base. A plunk of mules just going to fall down over there. And Cure just, the split push just ever, stops the Protoss player from ever having all of their tech units all in one place, which is typically what a Protoss's main goal is, right? So they're really making this much tougher. Gonna go diving up this 12 o'clock base. Gonna be under some fire. EMP goes down. Battery loses its energy. Disruptor shot. We'll find a couple units actually. Marauders and a ghost. Not bad at all. Another Wood of Mine shot lining up. Takes a probe out as well. Bottom left, a DT is swinging away. The rest of this army of MaxPax still chilling. And Stalkers fire up. Medevac taking damage. Going down shortly. Well, Zealots are going to be there to push things back as well. So again, good job across the board. Army of MaxPax still pushing over to the far left-hand side. And you got a couple more Vikings. It's continuing up as we do have a little catch on a Colossus there. This is maybe where we're starting to see Cure actually overwhelmed. I gotta say, I've been impressed by MaxPax. His splits have been really good up until now. He's actually going to bring this army from the left around for surround, but he's losing this army on the right side very quickly. So actually, Q's army might just be able to fight this no matter what, because I don't think there's enough for MaxPax. And this army showing up so late, he's already lost the fight so devastatingly. Now this force is not exactly going to do much. The disruptor shot was pretty darn good. It was well placed, but that's pretty much all you're getting out of this one. Everything goes down. Q is going to clean this game up finally. Again, he was in a great position throughout. Took a little while to finally put the finishing touches onto it, but he gets there in the end, and Q is going to be GG's, and that's going to be game number 1. All set and ready to go into game number 2 here. 2,000 atmospheres is our map. I'll just explain this one right away, that the OSC, well, all OSC tournaments use this expanded map pool. So basically, it's the typical ladder map plus 3 maps voted in by the OSC players and other people associated with OSC. Right now, it's 2,000 atmospheres, Resvan, I believe, and Ancient Cistern, maybe, actually, is the third one. You can probably find the information on that on the Wikipedia page, but I'm pretty sure that's the 3. So they are just played alongside the standard ladder maps. They are vetoed as usual, etc. And yeah, that's why you're going to see 2,000 atmospheres here for this game number 2, with MaxPax in the bottom left and Kira in the upper right, and a little SCV going to come journeying out down to the bottom of the map, also for an investigation as to what is going on. Well, we are going to drop ourselves down a engineering bay right on top of the natural of the Protoss player. So that is going to be the engineering bay block set up immediately. It's going to be established straight away. Nexus is just going to go down to the left-hand side. MaxPax not seeing this soon enough. Decides that it's not worth trying to obviously kill the engineering bay off from full HP. It's pretty much a forced situation. You don't really have a choice. If you see this too late, this is pretty much the you must go into this instead as the next step. So now we do have engineering base still coming up. Again, the factory coming through. The Marine gets there, picks off the probe in the main base. Factory coming up, factory going down, and the SCV going to continue into the main in the next couple of moments. What is the reason that EMP removes shields from the Protoss? I think the reason is that's how the game was designed. Would removing it help the balance of TVP? Yeah, it would help make it heavily imbalanced towards Protoss. Terran would absolutely have no chance. When you consider that TVP right now is, you know, almost a 50-50 matchup, it might be a bit Terran favored here or there. If you remove EMP, which is pretty much the only way Terran fights in the late game, then you're going to see like a massive swing in terms of balance. So I think we're a little bit too late in the life of StarCraft 2 to remove EMP, because you'd have to really redesign a whole bunch of other things at the same time. Otherwise Terran would never get past the 5-minute mark again. Yeah, Argons would be unkillable. No, I mean, there would just be certain Protoss compositions, yeah, you could just go super Archon heavy and... yeah, you just wouldn't be able to do anything about it. Now, don't get me wrong, it's obviously sometimes it feels a bit rough because, you know, you drop a couple of EMPs and the Archons just disappear. But, the matchup is not, like I say, so heavily in the Terran's favor that, you know what I mean? Like, that's the thing, it's not like Terran win every single late game TVP fight or anything. That's the beauty of StarCraft, that even when the game is not balanced, it's typically only like a 3-4% maybe kind of variation one way or another. And so it's still, you know, overall pretty decent. You know, I'm not saying it's okay to be like 54-46, but like that's still, it's not like it's like 70-30 or something crazy, right? So it's always one of those factors that if you make major changes, you really could upset that balance, right? As our Cyclones trying to find a way around, obviously, with the third base location being taken initially. You can loop around like this, and And this probe is going to realize that these Cyclones are diving into the main, so MaxPax is going to have to come in defensively here. Well, one pylon looks as though it'll go down. We'll overcharge that to keep it alive. Now these Cyclones are just going to control around the ramp. The Phoenix gets locked onto. Very nearly just gets straight up deleted. It took a lot of damage there immediately. And now we play from the high ground here. That battery can't overcharge, remember, so those probes are in trouble. 7 workers going down. MaxPax, yeah, he just ran into another Cyclone on the right side too, so he's taking a ton of damage here. Can't really do much about it just yet. And Cure just pushing himself up into this main is finding himself a fantastic opportunity. He's really making the most of it. Now he's going to go for this pylon again. He's going to back away though, go onto the Phoenix instead. The Cyclone's obviously being lifted a little bit rough, makes your life a lot more difficult. That is going to be the defense from MaxPax, but boy, did he take some damage on the way here. That was a lot of damage taken. A lot of probes went down. And Cure, gotta be happy with that. You come out of this a couple workers ahead, always great for a Terran player, because you're going to have mules as well, so typically that is just a big lead for you. So you're going to be pretty happy about that as Cure. And then, yeah, I mean, you knocked down some of the tech units as well, right? We killed one Phoenix. In fact, just the one Phoenix. So maybe you're a little afraid of the army, but I mean, we're playing a style that kind of keeps us in a very comfortable spot otherwise, right? So I don't think we're going to be that worried about it as our Phoenix come back around on this right side. Look as though they might go diving into the main base. A couple of SCVs going to start getting knocked down. At the same time, we had one more Cyclone just showing up for a couple of probes. Got shut down now. And again, this Phoenix doing what Phoenix do best, which is to get across the map, take map control, and just hit those mineral lines. Get some damage done, get rid of some SCVs, really bring down that economy of your opponent. That's some of the best stuff you can find. As our Phoenix come back around on the right. Probe Bay coming along, Observer coming up. The Phoenix will come over, and a couple Marines here. And they get picked off immediately, so 2 Marines downed straight away. 2 Cyclones, and the rest of this force from Cure continue down to the bottom left-hand corner. So still on a bit of a push. Again, leading in with those Cyclones. Has the stim on the Marines, right? So it's very high DPS, this force. Now, as the Phoenix lifts, maybe we can do something. These Stalkers do not have Blink because it was a Stargate-based opening. This was not Twilight. And again, we're just going to walk into the main where, awkwardly enough, well, this pylon's been under fire so many times. We're actually going to kill it this time. Depowers 2 gates and the Stargate. The Marines stimmed into the mineral line now is dangerous, of course, because they can get rid of a bunch of probes extremely quickly. Phoenix are doing a great job with their lifts. We can maybe target fire down one of those Phoenix that was low. We actually get a second with the Marines at the very end. And again, Cure diving in and getting so much value out of this. That's a lot of probes going down. That's a bunch of air units going down as well. I think you got to say that that is, again, generally just very, very positive altogether. Stalkers and the Immortal are going to pull back out the center. The Phoenix of MaxPax are returning back to the upper right-hand side. More Water Mines and Barracks all coming through, and our Phoenix will come in. It's going to pick off an SCV and take that down. Phoenix come back over again. Stalkers and the Immortal all gathering up. And Marine Marauder Medevac is on the way. Again, a couple more probes. Extended Thermal Lance, the Colossus. Bringing a bit of everything together here as our Phoenix continue forwards. The Bio still taking a few steps back. Another Widow Mine will get burrowed. Colossus is going to be pressing forward. You see the Widow Mines get burrowed again. The Phoenix is going to find this third base, so this is the power of MaxPax. Wakir has obviously given up his army multiple times over in favor of really dealing economic damage. That means that MaxPax's army is still quite powerful. And that's why Cure just has to back away very scared here and continue to build up for a little while instead. He has a Widow Mine drop across the map, gets 2 probes. The Widow Mine lift there from the Phoenix is not something that's going to last forever. Medevac didn't stick around. We're scared of the other Phoenix coming back, and this will be cleaned up. No surprises on that one. As Medevac continues to just try and get away, trying to keep those units alive for as long as possible here. Widow Mines, Vikings, Marauders, the +1 armor, all coming through. This army of Cure does take a couple steps forward as well. Just out the front as we have Medevac still coming back through the top. Again, a couple of Widow Mines going to end up unburrowing. Going to relocate slightly. Stalker Sentry Colossus goes through the middle of the map. And again, looking for a potential push into the upper right-hand side here. Phoenix flying forwards. The Viking shot onto one of those Phoenix straight away. Marine just got knocked down as well. Just seen that fall. Ghost Academy continues up. I wouldn't mind going to go into the center there. Actually, nice save on the sentry that was initially targeted. So it was only the splash damage. The sentry that would have died did not actually fall on Cure. Gonna have to make a stand right now as MaxPax looks pretty serious about pushing in. Only 42 probes, only 2 bases. He has to succeed off of this. There's the Widow Mine. Oh, that's horrible. Goes into the center of the Phoenix on top of the Protoss army as well. You lose the Prism, and this is getting easier and easier for Cure to hold on to. This is looking as though Cure is going to be most likely extending this lead out to a 2-0. Showing up at the start of this series and absolutely meaning business apparently as Viking Marauder production continues. The rest of this army from MaxPax back into the center. A few Marines. Marauder split in a couple different directions. One pylon taking shots. The Phoenix is still there. Phoenix fly through. The Marines are going to be able to get rid of a lot of the Phoenix, and then there's going to be Vikings left to go on the Colossi. Very Marauder heavy, but there's nothing to punish Marauders. One Immortal, not a lot of Zealots. Those are both things that would have made that a little bit tougher for the Terran, but Cure was just so far ahead. And he is going to take a 2. The bottom right-hand side, this is going to be our blue Protoss, representing Sunstorm Gaming and looking to try and turn this entire series around and on its head. It is MaxPax. Just a couple starts that have been rough for him. In Game 1, he was quite close to bringing it back. In Game 2, you saw his idea at least, but never really felt as though it got too close at all. See top left-hand side, the red Terran player is Cure, representing Team Liquid and looking to try and send himself through to the next round. But he would be playing against Hero to fight for a place in the upper bracket final and hence top 3 of the overall competition. And a couple of nibbles coming through for the first few moments here. Again, got that gateway coming up. The SCV continues to go chasing the probe around for a few moments. So probe being pushed around, a couple of corners. As he just wants to try and keep on nibbling at that SCV. When it gets its shields back, take advantage of it. Hey, Man in the Moon, how you doing? Thank you so much for the 34-month resub. Welcome back. Thank you so much for continuing to subscribe. Really appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. As SCV comes over, probe still being chased. Those double SCVs going after that probe for the moment. Cybercore still coming up. The Nexus coming through. And probe continues to move around a little bit, just for now. Trying to get as much done as possible. Well, that factory starts up on the side of Cure. We get that on the way. The SCV moves up into the main. So that factory is halfway done. The reactor's coming up on the barracks, and we do have the single Marine just poking around the front, looking as though Cure just wants to make sure nothing too crazy or too wild is taking place in these early stages. So just double checking all of that for the moment here. Gonna end up pulling back towards the natural. Factory finishes. Again, one Cyclone already on the way through. The reactor coming up. A couple more Marines on the way in. They're just going to come over and be able to knock down the SCVs. That is going to be the command center actually halted there for the moment, by the way. So CC not able to keep on building for now. It's an annoyance, of course, as now these adepts are here. They're going to continue to try and make sure this is a costly experience. I mean, there's 2 Marines already going down. The Cyclone shows up. The adepts split apart, knowing that one of them probably has to be sacrificed to save the other. And the blink on the way from MaxPax as he changes away from this Stargate-based opening into his blink. See how aggressive he gets on the blink. Of course, we knew MaxPax for a long time was really the player that every game would just go into the, 4-gate blink Stalkers. So is that going to be on the agenda here, or is there something else planned? Again, this Stalker pulls back into the natural. We again have blink coming up, and medevac and a couple more Marines continuing on the way as well. So all of that coming out. Tech lab on the way on the factory. Again, Robo Facility Gateway. Probes and a Stalker coming up on the other side. Warp Gate finishes up. Again, a little warp in through. Stalker comes into play. Widowmine actually catches the Adept. Mistake by MaxPax because he knew the Widowmine was there. He was clearly chasing it and moving it around, so that was just a mistake from him. Headed back all the way down to the bottom, and again, blink is halfway done. We are working off of just the 2, soon to be 3 warp gates. So that kind of mixture of kind of like, it can be aggressive, but also you're not going to expand super quickly off of this. We do lose the medevac. We at least got the full unload here, which means that the Cyclone can join into this fight, making it a little bit more costly to trade. Stalkers, do we have a blink play? Nope, because blink's not ready yet, but it's going to be okay. We actually mostly clean up. Only 1 Stalker lost. Good defense from MaxPax. That shuts down a lot of the pressure from Cure, so there's not going to be anything to really hold MaxPax at home any longer either. I think that's going to be a big deal, because now with the Prism out and leading across the map, you're expecting him to really pack a bit of a punch going into this next round of fighting, so definitely feeling like that is about to be a pretty serious factor here. That Prism sets up, warps into Stalker. Another Stalker getting warped into. Still got the bunker and the depot nearby. Just gonna have ourselves the possible hop up into this main. Tank shots onto the Stalkers. That depot down. Just gonna see another tank getting set here. A few more Stalkers still warping in, and again, a couple shots just knocking away at those Marines for the moment. Fire. Just going to knock this bunker down. Just going to go after a couple more Marines again. So far, the pressure's been great. This is somewhat the consequence of that earlier fight, right, where we lost a lot of units. As Q, it allows MaxPax to have a lot to fight with now in comparison to what Q is playing with defensively. And Q definitely taking some shots because of all this. 3 kills off the Raven as well. So some auto turret harassment on the other side. At least Q is finding something. It's not just about this harassment of MaxPax, but yeah, I mean, we'll see if any more workers go down from that. Right now the Raven is just rebuilding energy, so to be fair though, we do lose a fair amount of Stalkers. This was not a free, a completely free kind of investment. 5 Stalkers went down in total now, so MaxPax did lose some of his numbers, so if he kept all of those alive and he was still pushing at the front, then I'd be a bit scared for Cure. As it stands, it feels like Cure probably gets a little bit of time to recover and reset and restabilize in this game. Now the stim is already starting up, the missile turret is halfway done. Again, a few additional gateways coming out from MaxPax. We'll see one more gateway going down over on this side. And the charge upgrade is already coming out as well. The Stalker's going to just take the Prism into the main, not going to blink up. Again, just going to play with whatever edges and corners they can find. Maybe they could pick that missile turret, for example, but they'd have to be right up at the top, so yeah, hard to find that as well. The Stalker's taking damage. The tank line is just big. It really does protect you pretty much everywhere. The tank positioning being very good. It's one of the things you have to have, otherwise you are going to take a lot of damage from this aggression of the Protoss. Let's go, Fruit Seller, how you doing? Thank you so much for the 11-month resub. Thank you. Kind words, and thank you for the resub. As our Robo Bay finishes shortly, and so MaxPax has a transition set up behind this. Stim pack, combat shield, +1 armor. A bit of everything coming through there. Our bio coming forward, just going to chase those Stalkers back. The rest of the bio still pushing through with the tanks in tow. That's a group of Zealots that will warp in beneath this Prism, and we're going to take those maybe around the far left-hand side. Instant back in combat shield still building through. Because of shells on the way. And again, we move over to the left for just a couple moments. It's actually going to knock down one medevac already, so that gets taken out. Nice start. Maybe the double auditor in the main actually was going after the battery, didn't get there. It's low for next time, perhaps. Again, a couple of SCVs going down. The Zealots at the front getting caught. There's a couple of Zealots in the main. Look at this, warping on top of the tank. and so the tank will fall as well. So a lot of the defense is being picked away at, and Kua, it's going to be harder for him to justify taking a third right now because he just lost a lot of his defenses, and you know, any aggressive push is going to be without the siege tank, so that's going to be worse off. A lot of reasons why MaxPax is going to be feeling pretty decent about things at the moment. There's Bio in the tank force coming forward. He's going to stim on through. Stalker's already taken shots. A couple of Widow Mines nearby. 5 SCVs going down across the map as the couple of Zealots get down to business. 7 SCVs going down. The Marauders continue to trade. A couple more of these Zealots continue to fall off, and we're going to trade once again as the Colossi turn back around on this. Marines are going down. Continue to push forward. This is an easy fight, I think, for MaxPax. He's going to get rid of the tank so easily. And yeah, everything else is just kind of scrapped apart. And MaxPax probably just pushes across the map and looks to end this in the next couple of moments. Can't imagine a quick and easy way back in for Kua, especially with all the tanks going down. It's not like you can sit on those defensively. And that's also why the harassment on the map was nice as well from MaxPax. Being able to knock down one of those tanks with that whirlwind of Zealots into the main base was good. That split away was not the correct Zealot, but still feels like MaxPax has momentum at the moment, and Kua is going to agree with that. GG's. And it is going to be MaxPax to bring it back by a map. Total from the OSC Championship bracket. On the top right, looking to take us to Game 5 for our very first series today. The Blue Protest player repping Psystorm Gaming. It is, of course, MaxPax. Taking on the red Terran in the bottom left-hand side. This is, of course, Kua. Alright, then game 4 of this series. Let's see what the plan will be. What's Kua going to get up to? What will MaxPax open with? Decent questions, of course, as we now got this barracks just building, and we wait to see what MaxPax will do, I guess. He's actually going to have a probe on the map, so is there something sneaky implied with this, or what is that going to lead us towards? I guess is our new question. In the end, the probe just takes a long way to get across the map. Maybe just checking there was no kind of weird pathing SCV, looking for a block or anything. As we get across, you see there's not much happening. And for now, we're just going to turn that probe around, so the probe will not end up doing too much at the moment. Let's get the Reaper on the way. The factory's over halfway done. Walked up, we do have our warp gates done. The Adept is about to finish, and we do have the probe of MaxPax continue to just scout in. Next couple of moments, just seeing itself back on that assimilator. And the Adept is going to be here trying to defend against this Reaper. We did build a Zealot, and we sent it across the map. Now there's a second Reaper, and that's going to be able to defend against the Zealot, so it kind of works two ways. Like, the Zealot is still probably going to delay the CC. In fact, the Reaper did not turn around, so yes, CC will be delayed a bit. The STV will go down, so MaxPax's Zealot will succeed initially. I was going to say, at first I was like, well, it'll buy time on the Reaper, and the Reaper actually does still come back home, which means that realistically this is a second Reaper not across the map. That's a big deal. Now the Adept coming over as well. The Zealot gets a great amount of scouting, sees the Hellions, sees that there's something building on the factory with no add-on just yet, so you really get given full info to work with. Now the Adept comes forward, gets a couple shots off, is already shading back, so MaxPax just trying to make the absolute most of that. Where did that Adept go? Yeah, it's over here. So just making the most of his units, trying to get as much info, as much damage, as much as of anything really that he can get off of his opponent at any point in time. Adept comes over, SCV gets knocked down, Cyclone will pick away and get rid of that Adept, so that will indeed fall. across the map. The Reapers actually do hop in though, and they actually find themselves 3 workers, eventually surrounded and shut down, but 3 probes. Not bad, at least those Reapers, despite being delayed from coming across the map, do finally hit home to hit their target, succeeding a little bit as the medevac sits overhead. The Hellion is going to get lifted up into that. The Marine in a Cyclone, maybe another Marine as well. There we go. Gets up there and eventually. Just going to have ourselves the medevac going across to the upper right. So a push into the main in a couple of moments. Well, Heli and the Marines all unloading here. The Cyclone as well. In we go. Stalker already going to get picked off. We're going to unload and reload that Cyclone. So we go up and down. Stalker still taking some damage. Cyclone locking on again. One Hellion goes down. The Marine falls. Stalker still in the main. Again, the Cyclone of Cure over through the top side. Marines, another siege tank will pop as we do see the stop. We're going to swap on over to the reactor. Tank will siege up again, just a reactor on the way. We just have 2 more barracks continuing to build a little bit. Our Stalkers of MaxPax still into the center. Medevac can't find too much else with the Cyclone. This early game is going to kind of peace out a little bit. We got these few Stalkers, we got a bit of pressure coming from these guys, 3 gateways of blink pressure, but outside of that, kind of done. The Raven is still lingering for a couple of kills here and there. That Cyclone, the Medevac was lingering as well, but for the most part, we'll be kind of down to these Stalkers to see if they can do anything, and otherwise, more or less going to see a later stage of this game build up. We do get 1 SCV, we find a depot. Plus 1 attack continuing through. Medevac and the extra Marines are coming up. The Forge is going to start in the main base. And again, the rest of these Stalkers from MaxPax coming back around to the center. Charge starting. Observer coming through. Gates are building with the probes and the bombs and everything as mentioned. The Stalkers are going to get onto that Cyclone. We blink through. Cyclone will fall. The probe is going to go down. He's going to blink into the main base. We are going to find the reactor on the edge. Knock that down immediately. Again, we lost 5 probes on the other side mines, so that's also going to be something of a factor as the units left out. More Stalkers coming across, still seeing this push from MaxPax establishing at the moment. I mean, again, if you just sit out here and keep the pressure, right? If nothing else, that alone is going to keep you in a pretty good spot as my combat shield is just on the way. Plus 1 attack is halfway done. Back to finishing up on the factory. And our Marines and that Medevac going back up the right-hand side. A couple probes going down as the attempt to go into the back here. The Cyclone succeeds as well. This Raven still lingering. Actually, he's up to 6 kills, so it's the Raven that really keeps on finding damage as well. Well, we do have this Medevac and Marines going to take place of where that Cyclone was sitting previously. They will wait for their chance to get something done. It's a gain charge just on the way up in the Twilight Council. And I just love that MaxPax is just sat outside the natural, keeping so much control over what Kua can do. Meanwhile, he's just able to now start really taking probe advantages, going into 3 bases. This Medevac, like, you know, almost thinking he had an opportunity there, didn't quite find it in the end. Does go to sit over on the far side. Instead, eventually, it's just going to sit there for the moment. It's going to be chilling out. So I'm just going to try and fire the front. I'm going to continue to sit tight, just going to have ourselves the combat shield and the +1 armor coming through. Again, Medevacs, Marines, Marauders, Armory in the engineering bay coming by. There's the Prism in the main. Still not able to do too much here as the Stalkers poke in as well. Get that 4th rolling out. Again, the bio stemming up. The Stalker's already going down there. It's not going to get knocked away at the moment as we just have some of those Stalkers taking some hits. Vikings still coming through, the Armory still coming up. Again, that Bioforce still gathering just on the watchtower. We do see Zealot's actually going to be able to grab the Siege Tank. Going to go and lift up and go to the next one as well. Vikings get there, the Prism will fall. And we just pull back across. This army of Q is still sitting tight. You have the Medevac in the corner, just going to get pushed away. And again, Dark Shrine building up, and with all this harassment, it's been a very, obviously, you know, MaxPax was controlled for a while. Now it's turned into a more harassment-focused game. That's going to be where the Dark Shrine comes into play. Let's continue down. Widowmine commits in, and a couple of those elves are going to take a hit. CC, it's going to get cancelled. So again, the counterattacks of MaxPax putting in work for the moment as a couple more SCVs have fallen. Knocked the Raven down there, which is nice because we know Raven spellcasting can be very frustrating later in the game. +2/+1 on the way out. Extended thermal lance coming through. 2/2 upgrades on the engineering base. This army of Q is still pushing up that right-hand side. Mine's gonna burrow up, tank is gonna siege it from the low ground. Shots coming off, sentries go down, Immortal gonna get knocked away at, tanks are gonna fire, the Zealot's taking big hits, and we just have, again, a few more Stalkers on the way, Colossus coming through as well, Corona Boost continues, the Medevacs load up. Away they go. So away we go. So we see that bio sitting over on the right side. And 7 probes just chilling. We do have the Zealots charging over here. 5, 6 SCVs going down at the moment. Gonna keep on charging forward. Gonna be seeing Q chilling out on the right side. A couple of Colossi just going to come forward as well. Bio will sit there and take some shots. The Vikings continue to do some damage as well. A couple more Stalkers going down. And the scan coming up. The Bioforce coming over. Again, the Vikings just going to continue to fight. Stalker's going to knock that Viking down in the Plus, I finally cleaned up this siege tank as well, so the push is going to be pushed away now. Again, 10 Zealots they come through. There's the Colossus, +2 armor, +3 attack coming in. A Shadow Strike coming up. 2 more SCVs going down as the Zealots will get picked off over here, so workers will fall. So a few SCVs and a few probes will get knocked down for the moment. And Stalkers and a couple Colossi coming about. We're actually going to go jumping onto those Colossi a little bit, coming forward. Widowmine is going to go down as well. Rest of this chunk here coming out down to the bottom. We do have the Medevac still coming across. I'm going to try and join up with everything else. Mine getting burrowed. Well, the Zealot Stalker is still pushing forwards as well. Colossi going to come along with it. We do have this DT that is caught in amongst everything. Bro's like, let me through! Let me do something! It's actually going to get in, and not a lot of scans available as one DT gets caught. Yeah, we're going to be pretty limited on scans, so it's not going to be the easiest cleanup of all time. We do have Ghosts on the way. EMPs available then to help as well, but not just yet. And so more damage being done, and Cure losing a lot of SCVs off of this DT harass. The army supplies are pretty similar, so losing, you know, workers like this really sets it up so that you're in some trouble, because you're likely going to have to split portions of your army away as well to defend that, and then you're not going to be able to rebuild as easily if you do take a fight, which is, well, looking likely. The Zealots charge forward, the Stalkers and Colossi onto that orbital. The Vikings going to fight back against those Colossi. We push away. Stalkers will be there. Vikings go down. And we'll disrupt the shot. Kaboom, fucked up from Marauders. Another disrupt shot. Kaboom. Got everything else. 3-3 still coming up. Disruptor goes down. These Stalkers still being chased. This army of Cure trying to hunt, but I mean, it's just these Colossi. They are sitting in the back doing so much. Disruptor's even getting a ghost as we go. 19 kills on one Colossus, 9 on another. It was 6 on the final one. They did so much of the damage throughout all of this. That is going to be GG's, and that will be, well, game number 5 set up for us here. MaxPax brings it back from 0-2 down to 2-2. Bottom left, our blue Protoss from Psystorm. This is MaxPax taking on the red Terran in the top right corner of the map. It is Cure. Get this one up and rolling. We get this underway. Oh, there's one proxy barracks on the bottom side from Q, and he's got an SCV coming across as well, so SCV will come over. What is the plan with SCV number 2? I'm intrigued. There's a probe there. SCV will just take a nibble. Oh, nibble. Engineering bay coming up. SCV does drop the engineering bay down. I mean, yeah, kind of interesting to see proxy and the engineering bay blocks. So really an investment to slow MaxPax down in the early stages of the game. That is undeniable at the moment as, again, the Reaper is on the way up. The engineering bay will sit there. At least it was seen earlier, of course. The engineering bay can be dealt with by probes. This means you can put your expansion on the natural location. So we want to put that down immediately here so it doesn't get blocked by the next SCV. You can see him coming over. Cure a few more seconds, and the extra delay he could have caused could have been a big deal. Now, you have the bunker going up, and it is going to be in that setup so that it is kind of walled, but with 2 probes, you should always be able to hit this SCV, and that's why the SCV cannot continue to build the bunker. So good defense from MaxPax is going to force the instant bunker cancel. It doesn't even get close to going up. If it comes in, probe going to fire. I'm just going to be seeing our probe is going to get picked up, so probe is going to go down. And second probe, oh my goodness, is saved, but the Reaper is saved as well. My goodness, that was so wild. Does it ruin the series for me when casting from replays since I know when it ends? Nope, because I don't know when it ends. You have the maps. Each map is in a different folder called map 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so I have no idea until I open the folder if there's a replay in there or not, so I have no idea when the series ends. I honestly, you know, I think casting live is more fun perhaps, right? But like at the end of the day, like 99% of the time I do not know who's won or how the series went when I'm casting. Like sometimes it's inevitable the way I have to, like the way I get the replays or something, right? But 99% of the time it's not. 90% of the time I would say chat is more bothered about it being a replay than I am, the person casting. It's it's always funny. Classic. Let's see a couple of Reapers coming across. Let's see what Q can do. As we have got one Adept is already going to shade. And the other Adept will be here. We're going to commit. We'll lose one Reaper quickly. That's going to be tough to then do anything with. We might get a probe or so, right? But one single Reaper is just going to take that much longer to do the damage. Hard to imagine it's going to really find too much success. Drops another grenade. Depth Shade is enough for the kill, right? No, just had enough HP on it to survive. 3 HP left after taking one more Adept shot. As that blink is about halfway done, a couple of extra gates coming out. Robo Facility building on the natural also. Again, these Adepts continue to move around for the moment, so away they go. And Barracks continues up. The medevac about to finish. That's going to be popping. A few Widow Mines to jump inside. And the medevac here will begin to boost out down to the bottom left just for the moment. This medevac comes boosting back across as well. And with 3 Widow Mines, it's going to be a dangerous little moment or so when we see this committing through. Potential to do a bit amount of damage here as we dive on forwards, and we're going to be straight in. Widow Mine does force the probe pull. And they're all just going to burrow up and just going to go for a couple probes initially. Maybe, I was going to say, save 2, right? Oh, he actually gets a Stalker. Can't save it, though. Loses the medevac. 2 probes and a Stalker ain't bad. It is, of course, nice for MaxPax to just know that this is now dealt with and just gone. Reaper's in the main base, as the 2 Widow Mines don't really have anything to do there. They don't even try and burrow. It's going to try it now, I guess, but should go down before any real issue arises. And the other Stalkers are moving onto the map because you know there's nothing to be afraid of here. And that was... Oh, no! That Stalker, he left too soon, and he loses 9 more workers because of it. What a horrible situation for MaxPax. That was just so unlucky. I was like, well, these Widow Mines aren't going to do anything. I think Q just kind of gave up on them as well. He's like, okay, well, there's only 1 Stalker chasing, so I will try and burrow to pull 1 Stalker away, like, a little further. I was like, okay, fair enough. And then I was like, no, it's going to go down. And the Stalker just walked away before hitting the final shots. Ouch. Well, that is rough for MaxPax because that was well handled until that moment. And now he takes, damage that was very badly handled all through and through. So that's going to suck for him. He's got these Stalkers to do some damage. Tanks are not currently in position to fight back. Marines are going to try and push away. The Prism's already lost its shields. Other tanks now sieging. These Stalkers should have to leave at this point. This is a stage for them to just get the hell out of there. And so they do. 1 more tank shot knocks down 1 more Stalker. That will be about that. The Widow Mine recloaked. No, I don't think so, right? I guess so, actually. Yeah. I thought he pulled away too soon. I thought the final shot went off, or was gonna go off initially, but, yeah. Oh, I guess it did just recloak. I guess there was a simpler answer then. I thought, yeah, because I guess in my head I was like thinking there was detection there. And I was like, yeah, well, if he fires the last shot, it's going to go down, but obviously he didn't have detection there. So yeah, just recloaked. Well, as these Marines... Oh, they get the Prism as well. Nightmare for MaxPax. This gets worse and worse. Factory lifts off. I'm just going to be seeing the... Factory going to relocate towards a reactor now. Going to go and get that set. And it's Concussive Shells, Combat Shield coming up. Marine Marauder on the way. You're got to be happy. Got rid of the Prism. That's a big reinvestment to make as MaxPax if you want to reestablish that on the map again. So that's another problem. You would have to come through at some point. Cure and sieging tanks, and he might be ready to go on a bit of the push. Across the map we go. Concussive Shells is going to finish, and MaxPax just continues to sit here with these 2 Stalkers. The other Stalker coming about. Tanks will just push forward a little. And you have the medevac, so realistically, if you want to go for a larger push, you could. Oh, this works as well. Gets a free Stalker by sitting at home. And then siege and start a push, maybe. Loads up 1 medevac unit. Loads up 2. No, we're just going to drop. So, going to drop, leave everything else kind of back here. I mean, obviously the drop might work as well. MaxPax is going to be limited on unit numbers. And he's got a lot of the Stalkers on the map, so the drop at home may cause serious damage and trouble for MaxPax. Vex, again, boosting all the way around this bottom side. +1 attack, charge, immortal production coming through. A couple extra gates coming up as well. As those medevacs boost through to the bottom left-hand side. Bio in the center going to go chasing down those Stalkers as well, so also succeeding on that one for the moment as that Bio comes across. Going to drop in. Pylon already taking damage. We're going to jump our way onto these probes as well. It's just going to work our way through a couple of those. 4 workers going down. A couple of Zealots are dropping. The Sentry's going to fall also. I mean, this is just getting worse and worse. Stalkers come through. The medevac goes down. Immortal's still fighting, and again, just so you know, the Zealots and Stalkers and Sentry all coming by. 15 probes going down the left side. MaxPax is in a world of trouble. This is not getting any better for him as he loses his 3rd base. All those probes dropped. And again, just that early game, Widow Mine just knocked him over the edge. Then losing the Prism as well, right? It was really the 1-2 combo punch that really knocked him off his stead there. And yeah, this is A little bit of Prism harass on the other side, but MaxPax is really not in a great spot. He's going to push forwards into this. He's going to get the Raven. He's going to get the tanks. And it's probably the best fight you're going to find because Kiwa's Bioforce was AFK, and now the Bio doesn't have evacuation either because the Medivacs, well, there's only one of them, so 2 Marines get out. Actually, very good cleanup for MaxPax. He takes a very, very good fight for himself there. And if there's ever going to be a chance, it would perhaps be off the back of something like that. Even then, I still can't say that I'm extremely confident in it. So Zealots and our Stalkers continue through. And just a couple more shots by our army there. Wouldn't mind shots going off. Zealots taking hits. There's a couple of Widowmines. Stalkers still blinking away. Marines and Marauders are pushing forwards. Here come the Zealots from MaxPax in the main base. The Prism moving across as well. Back for the moment. The SCVs will pair up this bunker. Stalker's still trading away. Gonna grab another Widowmine right there, and again, still the Bio is just gonna push on through. I think we've got ourselves one armor on the way up. A couple of force fields going down. The Zealots will continue to flank. They will knock down that bunker. A few more Zealots warping in. Going to be still seeing the Immortal and the Stalkers continue to come about for the moment. Stalkers will keep on pushing through. MaxPax is down 20 army supply attacking into the natural. SCVs will be given up. It's going to even out the worker count, so MaxPax will give himself some hope. He'll give himself some opportunity, but his army is still going to struggle to deal with the opposing army. And there's a third CC ready to go too. So don't get me wrong, MaxPax has had a little bit of hope there, but I think it was really nothing but hope at the end of the day. As MaxPax is completely all in. Just trying his best to make something happen. Catch his opponent maybe a little too greedy or so. Hoping he can maybe find one edge back into this. Widowmines are dropping on the other side. One probe, and this one's actually going to hit a few if he doesn't respond. 4 more probes. Thank you very much. We take those. So it's going to turn around. We knock the Observer down as well, so that gets taken out as the Humps falls. Well, it's going to be seen Widowmine still firing into the Stalkers. This is a stim away from being GG as Kua is going to have these Zealots running through into his Widowmines. His Bioforce is going to trade very comfortably, and it's going to be a 3-2 victory for Kua. MaxPax brought it back to game number 5, but in the end, Kua was still able to close this one out. The early game again, just some early games that really were not in MaxPax's favor at all.